32-year-old Marina Moodley has barely slept in a month as the Russian invasion of her home country rages on.
Coming from capital, from Kyiv, so Kyiv has not been invaded properly yet. They've been coming from the surroundings of Kyiv, and the little towns and cities around Kyiv has been completely destroyed. So there's a city next to the northern border called Chernihiv, where Raymond is usually going. That's where actually we met and became friends with Raymond. And that city is completely destroyed. And my family who is in Kyiv, they're still there. They're not running anywhere because there's nowhere to run. And just sitting and listening to sirens and missiles flying over. But the attack to Kyiv is coming soon. It's anticipated. So this
Moodley moved to Durban 10 years ago and phones her father, who's in Kyiv, daily. He's caring for her grandfather and brother, who's now joined the army.
As I told you earlier, one missile landed right next to my dad's building, like 5 minutes walk. So as yet in Kyiv, it wasn't so terrible as it was in the hot spots. But the fear people are living in, the sirens, and when they hear the airplane flying, when like you and I are sitting here in South Africa and hearing the airplane flying, I'm waving with my son to the airplane, hello airplane. They living in the fear that something is going to fall on your head and you will never see this world again.
More than 600 civilians have been killed in Ukraine since the invasion began on the 24th of February.
What you see on the TV, I mean, it's terrible and petrifying, but when you hear the fear of people, how they can't sleep, how nightmares, what they're going through, how they running and escaping and leaving everything what they had just to stay alive. There's a few registered deaths of children because of dehydration. So they're not letting people come out of bunkers and they're not giving them food and water. So they just basically starving them to surrender. And it's just absolutely inhumane what they're doing. And
Moodley says many Ukrainians have been unable to access places of refuge, especially in South Africa. Her friends are stuck in the United Arab Emirates after their hometown in Ukraine was destroyed.
To help them to get here, we're inviting them as our guests, not as refugees. My husband is saying I'm going to provide for them, and whichever is needed is from our side is coming from us. And the South African embassy in UAE is not accepting their visas. So throughout the world, Ukrainians who want to join their family and friends in South Africa are not able to apply anywhere. So I'm calling and asking and begging South African government to reconsider this and to waive off the visa, or at least to accept the documents in whichever country Ukrainians are running from.
Moodley is asking for people to pray for her country.
We should all pray for it all to be over as soon as possible. It is very scary, and I just say let's pray. And Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava.
For Newzroom Afrika on channel 405, I'm Karinda Jagmohan in Durban.